Oh, my God. Oh, that was beautiful. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Michael. I remember Michael when I first started court reporting. His mom was in a big law firm, and I remember him coming into the office. He was about this high. And I know she's not here on this earth, but I know that she's with him always, always. And oh my God, it just brought up so many memories for me about childhood and stuff. So let's just get started. All right, let me get the snarky on so I can stop crying. So happy Mother's Day, first of all. M is for the million things she gave me. O means only that she's growing old. T is for the tears she shed to save me. H is for the heart of purest gold. E is for the eyes with love lighting shining, with love light shining, and R means right, and right she'll always be. And remember that, Ryan. Now, I don't know that I believe that last one about moms were always right. I want to share with you. That's my mom. That's my mom. And that's me, obviously, and my little brother at the time. And my mom, I've shared with you, she was from the Philippines. And my mom right now, she'll be 93 this August. But my mom has dementia, Alzheimer. She doesn't even recognize me. To me, that isn't even living. I like to believe when I visit her that that's her body, but her soul's already with my dad. And, and looking back, my mom came to the United States. She must have been about 18. She ran away. She lied about her age. She'd met my dad, who was in the Merchant Marines, and she came to the United States. And she dropped out of high school and everything and came here. Now, my mom came from a very wealthy family. My dad picked pineapples and cut down sugar cane in Hawaii. That's where my dad was from. So quite a different lifestyle. And so what I wish I could, now that I'm in spirituality and I know more about who we are, and those of you that are here for the first time, I always say this ain't your mama's church, because we don't try to teach you any kind of dogma, that you're sinners, or if you don't do this or that. We really are trying to touch your heart, to remind you of the truth of who you are and who everybody is and how they play a part in your life. But I'd like to ask my mom if she could converse is, what was hard for you? Like I've shared before, my mom didn't even know how to boil water when she came here. She didn't even know how to turn on the stove or anything, And so I think of, are our parents perfect other than me, right, Ryan? Yes. But we do the best we can with what we have. And here's the thing. A lot, I've heard some of your stories, of your childhood, and they're terrible. But I always think, was my childhood perfect? Yeah, it must have been perfect. It must have been perfect for who I am now. We have things that our parents did that, may have scarred us. But we don't know what they went through or what they were going through at that time. And so life is, life from the very beginning, we're on this journey to learn who we are and what life is all about. And thank you, Mommy, for all you did for me. We all tend to perpetuate the past into today and on into the future. It's the way that we carry the mistakes of the past into the present. So yeah, I didn't even want kids. I was married, 10, 11 years, and then I got pregnant. And I'm like, what the heck? But I've shared that story. I'll share it again, though, because it's a good story. So I didn't want to have kids. My business partner, we had just opened up our court reporting firm like a couple years earlier, and we just moved into a larger office and really trying to build it up. And my business partner, she came over and she was so excited. She goes, Laura, I'm pregnant. And I'm going, are you frigging kidding me? I go, we have a business. I go, how are you going to build up this business and take care of a baby? Here this sweet woman is sharing with me the joyous time of her life, and I'm crapping all over it. I am literally just, and she just kind of walked out of my house. She lived across the street, kind of walked out of my house, and, I rained on her parade. A couple weeks later, I go to try on some workout clothes, and I'm in there trying out, and I go, oh my God, my breasts are huge. What the heck is going on? And I came home and I told my husband, I go, okay, I'm either pregnant or I'm dying. Something is really wrong. And so I said, well, if you're pregnant, what are we going to do? Because we had pinky swore we would never have kids. Because we said every time all our friends, when they had kids, they got divorced. And I said, we're not doing that. And so, but we decided, no, we'll keep it. I go, what? I said, people always say they love them. I said, what are we going to say? They're stuck with them for 18 years. I said, what the heck else are they going to say? So anyway, and I went to we had the tests for pregnancy, but I didn't want to trust that because I didn't know if that's what it was. And so I went in there, and my doctor knew how I was. And so he goes, he does the test, he comes back, and I go, well, did I kill the rabbit? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, what are you going to do? And I said, I'm going to keep it, So anyway, I did. I kept it. And then what was really funny is I go in the office. After I got the verdict, I went and I looked at baby things. I thought, okay, I got to get in the mood, a different mindset. I need to do this. And I come into my office, and there's my business partner standing at the front desk. And I look like death warmed over. And she goes, what's wrong? And I go, I'm just going to say it once, and I'm going to my office. And she goes, what? I said, I'm pregnant. And the look on her face, like, how did that happen? I won't say the exact words that I said, but I said, how do you think that happened? But it was a nasty word. And I walked into my office. And our sons are like 3 weeks apart in age. We lived in the same neighborhood. They were great friends. And anyway, so there was a reason. I think being a mom taught me a lot about love. Patience, maybe not so much. But it was the best blessing. And so, surrender. Be willing to accept that things were supposed to happen the way they did. Whether or not you can understand why, you may be aching over the intricate details, fighting against the pain and devastation it has caused you. If you keep battling with reality, you'll always end up losing. Let go of your attachment to what you think should have happened and surrender to what is right now. You may not know where you're heading, but trust that you're being guided towards a place that serves you. And I saw that, and I go, God, that, if I look back on my life, I found this center when I was probably in my mid-40s. When I turned 40, I split up with my husband. We never divorced, but we split up, and I was searching. I don't know what it is. I see a lot of people looking for something. There's something that stirs in you, that that there's something more to what your life is. And it may not be bad, or it may be hell. It could be hell. And what we teach here is we teach about what gets stuck in our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind holds everything. So all the pains that you had as a child, or these beliefs that you got about life and this and that, they're in your subconscious mind. And and you don't know the backstory. Like my dad was a really hard worker. He really provided for us. He wasn't a real affectionate, And the only time I really got a lot of hugs was when my uncle came from New York at Christmas time, and he'd put me on his lap and he'd read me books. And I even said to him one time, I called him Unky. I said, Unky, I wish you were my daddy. And he said, Laura, your dad loves you. And I go, yeah, I know. But he wasn't an affectionate person. And I really wanted that. My mom was very affectionate, but my dad wasn't. And so, but then I have to think back on my dad's life. Why wasn't my dad affectionate? My dad, like I said, grew up in Hawaii. They worked in, I told you, but his dad wasn't an affectionate person either. They could walk down the street in Maui and pass each other. My grandfather wouldn't even acknowledge him. So, so you have to look at what did your parents go through? Like I said, babies don't come with a guide at age 1, do this, and that. We react and we do things based on what's in us. So sometimes we have to surrender. Sometimes we have to let go of any pain that we may be holding from our childhood or from people in our adulthood that hurt us. We don't know. Even though there are days I wish I could change some things that happened in the past, there's a reason the rearview mirror is so small and the windshield is so big. Where you're headed is much more important than where you've left behind. And that's true. We can't get stuck in the past. We have to look forward, and we have to open our hearts to that, to the possibilities. I look at things. I remember here, junior year, I'm trying out for cheerleader. We'd already decided I was going to be head of the pep squad and all this stuff. I lost by 5 votes. And my other cheerleaders and the song leaders, they were more devastated than I was. There was always something within me that knew, because they wanted me to fight it. Some of the football players, Laura, you need a recount. Boy, does that sound familiar? And I said, no, I don't want to recount. I trust them. I know it's fair. Life goes on. And I look at that, and I was going to quit because my senior year was going to be crazy. I was going to quit my job. I had a part-time job. But for that, I stayed in my job. But for that, I did meet my husband. But for that, I had my children. And so we can look back on our lives, and yeah, you might go, oh, that was terrible. It changed the whole trajectory of my life. Yeah, but what were the gifts that you did get? Why are you just focusing on what you missed out on? You would have missed out on the wonderful things that happened, but for some things that changed the trajectory of your life. So look at that. Look and focus on that. So that's my talk, a new outlook. Have a new outlook on life. Yesterday I went to Albertsons, and I was parking my car, and there was this man. He drives like a Model T. I don't know if you've seen him driving down El Paseo or something. I don't know if it's a Model T, but it's a really old car, open. And I was trying to park, and he got out of his car, and he has a cane, and he's carrying his bag, and he could barely walk. And I get out of my car, and he's almost to the curb to get up, to the door. And this man comes out, and he says, here, and he helped him. He went down, and he helped him. He said, here, let me help you. And he said, can I get you a cart? And the little old man, and that way he was sturdy, and he had his cart. And I stood, after he was doing it, I just stood there and watched it. And it just touched my heart, how sweet this man wasn't much younger. And I had to go up to him, and I touched his arm, and I said, that was so beautiful. I said, you made my day. I said, that was so beautiful. And he goes, do you need a cart? And I go, no, I'm okay, thanks. I said, but I just had to tell you that. And it's these simple acts of kindness that we can do. I was thinking about when I raised my children, We didn't have Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter and all that. They barely just got a cell phone, I think, when they went into maybe college. But they didn't have all that. So they weren't influenced. I mean, I'm so grateful that I lived the era that I've lived and that my sons got. So their friends were in the neighborhood, They were there. They rode their bike. It was a small little neighborhood, and that was it. They weren't on their. I mean, I look at my granddaughters, and they're on their iPads all the time. And they were outside riding their bikes, using their imagination, pretending they were this or that. That was kind of how I grew up too. And so, I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. The love that I've gotten from my sons, and that was the best job I've ever had and still have, is to be a mom. So look at your life. Get a new outlook. We are here at such an important time in the world. We are here to, when we were growing up, most of us, we didn't have news 24/7. We got a little piece of news, and that was it, and, kept us up to date, but it wasn't the way it is now. And so look at your life and be grateful. Okay, what's next? Life can be difficult if all you see is everything that's wrong. Start focusing on what's right, what's good, what's constructive, no matter what you're facing. If you choose a positive mindset, you'll emerge the winner. So if you want to feel better, you've got to think better. Got to think better. You have to really, what we teach here is we are all an aspect of the divine. We are all that. And therefore, we have the power to create our life. You can have stinking thinking and you'll have a stinking life. Or you can have a loving feeling and feel that love and feel that gratitude for every breath you take. We are living here in this beautiful valley that gets hotter than hell, but we still love it, So you're not going to hell. In August, you are in hell. Okay. All right. And so educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. I love that. I love that. This part of your body, this part that's connected to this part, is such an important part. You have so much power. Stop wanting and knowing that whatever it is you desire is already coming. Claim it and own it and just live from that. Live from that. And if you see somebody that's miserable, bad attitude, whatever, just love them. They're going through their thing. And what they need is for you to be that example. To be that example of that goodness. That's why I love being here. I love this center. I love the energy that people say when they're here for the first time that they feel. Because we're not educating you on the Bible or text. I mean, not that we won't give you quotes. We're here to remind you of the truth of who you are and why you're here. You're here at such an important part of our history as mankind. To see the goodness. Don't get into fights about different positions or whatever. Just be that person. Just be that. Be that love. See the good. Every thought, every action creates vibrations through this infinite field of consciousness. Be mindful of your thoughts and emotion, for their effects are far more potent than you realize. That's what I just said. You have that. You're just walking into a room. Haven't you ever been someplace where somebody just walks in and you can just feel that energy? That's who you are. That's what you're doing. And your mind will always believe everything you tell it. Feed it hope. Feed it truth. Feed it with love. That's what we want to do. And you can forgive some people without welcoming them back into your life. Apology accepted, access denied. Okay? So, yeah, you don't have to be victims. I'm not saying just bend over and take it. I'm just saying, I just meant spankings, okay? I got spankings when I was little. Like I said, I would rather have my dad spank me when I was small than to say, Laura, I'm disappointed in you. That would crush my heart when he'd say that. Okay, you nasty. So we've seen this all over, coexist. Your beliefs don't make you a better person, your behavior does. Right? Right? Exactly. Yeah. So let's remember that one. And every time you put something positive into the universe, the world changes. Your kindness invites miracles to show up, not just in your world, but in the whole world. I will never forget that man yesterday, how sweet he was, and just so loving to do that. You know, yes, you can give money to the poor, which is wonderful, and I've done it, we've all done it, but just to see him do that act of kindness was so beautiful. So, choose joy. Don't wait for things to get easier, simpler, better. Life will always be complicated. Learn to be happy right now. Otherwise, you'll run out of time. Right? This is all you have, is this moment. None of us are guaranteed an hour from now. So live each moment. Be grateful for each moment. I am so grateful for my sons. Ryan, I love you so much, you know that. Corey's flying to Nashville. He said, I can't watch you today, Mom. I said, it's okay. And that was the best mistake I ever made in my life, was having them. When they put Ryan in my arms, he looked like Yoda. Okay. But I fell in love with him immediately. And in fact, when at that time, they didn't keep the babies in the rooms with the mothers. They do now. And at feeding time, they brought him in, and this baby was beautiful. And I go, this isn't my baby. I said, there's some mother right now that's very upset. And she goes, oh, she took it. And I go, was she upset? And she goes, you know. But I didn't want any other baby. That was my baby. And, you know, and when they put him in my arms, I just said, thank you, God, for being smarter than me. That's exactly how I felt. But for that, what could have looked to me as a terrible thing, it turned out to be the best thing in my life. So I love being a mother. I love being a grandmother. Can't wait to be a great-grandmother. And anyway, enjoy your day. And I want one more thing I want to say. I feel like Dale and William and I, we are your parents. We love you. Do we make mistakes? Yeah, a couple, you know. But you are our babies. You know, we come here and just look at you and feel such joy, truly, to be here. And so happy Mother's Day to us look at all these wonderful children we've brought into the world. So anyway, have a wonderful Mother's Day. I'm sorry I went so long.
Oh.